The Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals. Presented by Bishop State Community College.
Spanish Fort Toros, they have won 16 straight games here at home, and they've also won 14 straight in the region, and they've got a huge test tonight as the St. Paul Saints come in with a record of 4-1, ranked number 10 in 6A, unbeaten in the region, to take on the Toros with the exact same record. Each team lost week 1. They've run off 4 wins in a row. Each team was off last week, so we've got a big region matchup here tonight on the Hill. Good evening. I'm Jim Cox. My partners Dan Brennan and Vic Lockett, as always. And Dan, like we were talking about, something is going to have to give tonight because Spanish Fort scores on everybody, and nobody's been able to score on St. Paul's this year.
Yeah, the records are similar, but the way they go about winning their games is really different, right? And Spanish Fort, they are explosive offensively, and they like to get the ball in the air if they can, and they've got some outside guys that can make some plays. On the other hand, St. Paul's is say, you know, we're going to line up, we're going to run it with Ingram, and we're going to see if you can stop us, and we're going to shorten this game. Everybody goes home early, and we win. That's the way they go about it.
Lots of offensive concepts, if you will, for the Toros, and it all runs through the quarterback. And, boy, you just look at him, and he looks the part out there on the field.
He really does. This guy named Jackson Burkhalter, look at the moves right there for a big kid. Now, again, he's only a junior, so he's got this year and another one left. When you just talk about raw skill, Vic, he looks the part, right?
He has.
Yeah, and he's got a good arm, too. So, again, you got a quarterback that is big and athletic. He's got a good arm. You got to start with him. Let's see what kind of night he has against a very good defense.
We talked about that St. Paul's defense. They are only giving up 6 a game. Nobody scored more than a touchdown against them this year, Vic Lockett. And so what happens when you have a star player like they do in the secondary? You wouldn't expect Burkhalter to be challenging A.J. Finley much tonight, right?
And if he does, he's probably going to pay for it because, you know, if you look at A.J. Finley, he's a good-looking kid as well. I mean, 6'2", 180, already committed to Ole Miss. And he just has the body language and the confidence out there. Hey, I got this. I got this side of the field. You don't have to help me out safety. You just take care of the other half. And Coach Masters, you guys know, confirmed that pregame. You don't mind leaving him out there by himself. Even like a team like Blunt, who's one of the fastest teams in the whole Mobile County area, they still leave him out there on the island, and he comes up and makes the plays, just has confidence. We just saw there he high-pointed the football like it was nothing. Great ball skills. It's going to be fun to watch, guys.
Boy, these games that these two teams have had over the years, especially here on the Hill, have felt very much like playoff games. We expect the atmosphere to be exactly like that here tonight as we get ready for kickoff here. 6A Region 1 matchup. St. Paul's traveling across the bay to take on the Toros of Spanish Fort here on the Hill. They have had some very memorable games here on the Hill. We have broadcast some very memorable games here in Spanish Fort, Denver.
We've been around for so many games. When there's a game that's memorable, I mean really memorable, that says something.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we've done a good, 14 a year for going on 19 years. But they did. They've had some knockdown dragouts between these two when they were both 5A schools.
I'm expecting one tonight, hopefully.
Yep, I think you're right, Vic.
So Spanish Fort will kick. St. Paul's won the toss, and they deferred to the second half. And Matt Quinn does what Matt Quinn always seems to do, and that's put the ball in the end zone. And so we will see the
like the fire red uniform Spanish Fort has on.
You like them, Vic Lockett. As a play-by-play guy, I can't tell you how much I love them. I just text our friend Lee Shervanian, who's on the roof. There's Steve Mask, 7th year. Look at that, 76-14 here at St. Paul's. And I said, hey, we could read these uniforms, Lee.
Yeah, and Steve, as always, very informative and entertaining at midfield before the game.
We love chatting.
He's a good guy.
Get some nuggets.
Coach Mask. Jay Green, junior quarterback, pitch it to Jordan Ingram, and we'll say that a lot tonight. And Ingram is going to be out past the 30 for a first down for the Saints on their first play from scrimmage. The Saints offense, it goes through Ingram, 644 yards. And you look up front, Grant Taylor, Peyton Maples, Walker Hunter, Ian Schultz, and then Brady Ward been replaced, injured. Zach Reiner there, London Rollins there, Billups on the outside, Henderson, Brown, also, again, Ingram, and then you see Reggie Bracey in there some, Bell in the backfield. And now this will be Green rolling out to his right, fires this one, and he's able to get that one complete right in midfield, and a great job to hold on to that one. Javonte Graves Billups took a big whack as that ball hung in the air for just a second, but
got a flag, roughing the passer.
Let's look at the defense for these Toros. Giving up 19.6 a game, but if you throw out the game against McGill, it's only 12.5 a game. Babs played really well, a game we saw earlier. Fitzgerald there, Carlos Johnson on the edge, Duff, Hoover, Winstead, and Watson in the secondary. DJ James, who you just saw there, he's going to Mississippi State. Mike Miller, really good at strong safety. Luke DeWeese and Micah Gaffney, the sophomore, round out the starting lineup for this defense of the Spanish Fort Toros. Both these teams were off last week.
During the play, personal foul, rubbing the passer on the defensive team, 15 yards to the end of the penalty, first down.
So they pick up 16 on the pass and then 15 after the penalty, and they move it all the way up to the 35-yard line.
I didn't see the roughing, but are we going to continue what the NFL trend is down on the high school level?
I missed it too. They laid a pretty good lick on both ends of that play. Looks like.
Peyton Henderson, who was our guest on the pregame show, will be split to the bottom of your screen. Sam Spear up top. Trying to go up the middle. Jordan Ingram, and not much there. That's stout. Defensive line right up the middle. Hunter bumpers the first one in there for the Spanish Fort Toros. And no gain on first down. We talked about Ingram again. 121 carries now on the year, closing in on 700 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns.
And our friend Steve Mass is just fine with that.
He is. You know, they're not going to try and outmaneuver you or trick you or a lot of...
Shocked me with the pass just this series.
Me too, yeah. But don't look for a lot of misdirection. Look for a lot of good blocking and running.
Now look for A.J. Finley, who Vic talked about on the defensive side. He's lined up wide on the offensive side, number 3 here for the Saints. And now we get a timeout.
What?
Let's see who... Yeah, the Saints took a timeout here. Didn't like that lineup. And let's welcome in, as we always do, down on the sidelines, is Tara Reeves. Good evening, Tara.
Good evening, Jim. Everyone's life has been touched by cancer in some way, and no one knows that quite like Spanish Fort athletic trainer Rob Milam. Rob's wife, Jamie, was diagnosed with cervical cancer in 2015, and UTV 44 had the opportunity to speak with the couple 3 years ago as they battled this horrible disease. Unfortunately, Jamie passed away just last week, but it's her strength, her positivity, and her ability to bring the entire community together that we will remember forever. Spanish Fort head coach Ben Blackman told me that Jamie exuded pure joy to those around her regardless of what she was going through, and said behind any good man is a great woman, and that's exactly who Jamie was for Rob. She supported him on and off the field. When speaking with Rob, he said, "Jamie has my heart, she has my soul," and tonight our UTV 44 crew honors a courageous woman, Jamie Milam.
Thank you so much, Tara, and not just from a Spanish Fort football team, the entire community of Spanish Fort, such a huge part here, and thinking about the entire family. And
many prayers.
Rob lost his dad as well last week, and he's at the funeral tonight. Tonight over in Louisiana. So a terrible tragedy there. So our thoughts, hearts with everybody here in Spanish Fort, especially Rob Milam and his family. So here we go after the sack there, 3rd and 18. Green rolling out, pressure coming, flings it to the near side, and really didn't have much there, had to throw it away as he was trying to come to the sophomore Javonte Graves Billups again. So 1st and 10 up to 35, and the Toro defense flexes their muscle and going to force the Saints to punt here.
I think the big play was the stop on first down, Vic.
Yep.
They had all the momentum in the world. They just gained 30-some yards, and then suddenly the door got slammed on that first down, put it behind what they wanted to do, which gain on first down, and then they have the option of doing whatever.
Yeah, they just started backpedaling there and just went downhill from there.
Will Paso to punt. And Chris Adams drain. Fair catches that one at about the 9-yard line. So now we'll see this Spanish Fort offense we talk so much about and this defense from St. Paul's. Ben Blackman, 4th year here. He's closing in on 100 wins as a career. He can still get there this year. Overall, he's got 92 wins. You can see what he's done here at Spanish Fort.
He was at Greenville as the head guy. Very young
Gulf Shores.
Gulf Shores after that. That's when we met Ben.
Yep. And he's done a great job here. Of course, state champions 2010, 2012, 2013, 2015 with Ben.
Yep. His first year here, he won it all.
15-0 first year.
And from there, it's just been uphill. And, you know, they got the mindset here to win a championship.
They do.
That's the expectation.
He's lost 1 region game in 4 years as the coach of the Toros.
In a very good region.
Yeah, Mike Franklin, who's had a lot of playing time this year, but he's starting to get more and more. 6'1", 215 pounds. You might remember watching him. He was at Daphne last year, but now he's here at Spanish Fort. 3 touchdowns on the year. And as much as Ben loves to fling the ball around the field, I also think he'll be very happy as the season progresses, handing the ball off to the big running back to help wear down some defenses. Gain of 5 on first down. Burkhalter right back up the middle. And this, again, is Franklin, and he's got a first down out to the 26-yard line, gain of 12.
Boy, our pre-game guest, Christopher Tuberville, and his group really cleaned it out there right in the A-gap.
Wilson, Freeman, Tuberville that Dan talked about, Gage Grayson and Nathan Brown, the linemen up front for the Spanish Fort Toros. It all starts up front with them. And then you move Xavier Love from running back out to wide receiver now. Christian Burkhalter also in the slot, 6'4". That's a nice target when he's your brother is the quarterback. And they go back to Franklin. And then you've also got Finn Heath, and then you've got Chris Adams Drain, who's going to LSU, and just a junior. He's already got 17 catches and 6 touchdowns this year. St. Paul's defense, Daniel Foster Allen, Devin Manigo, and Caleb Crum. And then you got Harris Sankey having a great year at linebacker, Mills Hensley, Lance Chavers, a 3-year starter, Trayvon Bellamy, Finley, of course, going to Ole Miss, Reggie Bracey, Yates Gran, who everybody just loves as a player, and Julian Little there as well. And this is Abrams Drain, and he's going to have a first down, knocked out of bounds around the 40-yard line, pickup of 12. And the offense rolling here for Spanish Fort on their first possession.
You know, that's kind of like a long handoff right there.
Yep.
Real easy, just hand it over to the receiver, 5-yard pass, and let Drain do the rest of it.
Yeah, you got a quarterback with a quick release. He can get out there quick, and as you know, Vic, it's not only just completing that pass, but getting it out there quickly and in a fashion where you're, in this case, wide receiver, has momentum going forward.
Sure, very catchable ball. Was looking at Burkhalter pregame. Got a kind of a unconventional delivery and how his mechanics is, but talking to the wide receiver coach, you know, said, hey, they're fine with it, not going to try to correct it. He's getting it done.
Burkhalter on the keeper comes out, trying to get it to Drain, and he does. And Abrams Drain up to the 45-yard line before he's bumped out of bounds by Grahan.
I think that Green and Drain may see a lot of each other.
Yeah.
They may end a lot of plays together because Green is kind of the last line of defense, a really good safety for St. Paul's.
And there's Drain there. We might see him play some quarterback, too. I mean, we've seen him take direct snaps as well, and he's just a phenomenal athlete. 6'1", 160-pound junior, again, committed to LSU. He's lined up at the bottom of your screen going against A.J. Finley, going to Ole Miss. Caleb Purdy comes in motion. Franklin slips a tackle, and he's slowed down, but it's going to be enough for a first down as Grahan brings him down, and Harris Sankey had him by the ankles there, but now the Toros into Spanish Fort territory.
Look at his hesitation, a la Le'Veon Bell, waits till the hole opens up.
I haven't seen that on Le'Veon Bell much this year.
Well, he's on the couch right now, but that's what he's known for, and looks like Franklin took a page out of his book.
He did also some good blocking up there, and Spanish Fort is softening up this very good St. Paul's defense, at least early, on the ground.
Franklin right up the middle. He's going to gain about 8. Yeah, this Spanish Fort offense so talented, but this defense of St. Paul's allowing just 110 yards a game on the ground and 82 through the air, and they've had 11 takeaways in the first 5 weeks. So they're stout, but this might be the best test they've faced from a big offensive team so far this season.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Talent and want to. And Spanish Fort, again, like Vic said, they're used to winning not just games, but championships.
Burkhalter fires it out. He's able to get that one complete. That's Finn Heath, and it's going to be good for a first down up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 4, all they needed, but they got the first down.
Another thing that we'll see during the course of a season is kids getting better, too. Like Finn Heath, this is his senior year.
Yep.
And it's his time to step up and become a bigger player for this team's offense. Sometimes guys aren't ready to do that immediately their senior year, but as the year goes along, here they come.
Yeah, and I want to finish that thought there after the play.
Burkhalter quick out to the near side. Abrams' drain will be shoved out of bounds. And
you know, I heard a great man say this week on the radio is that, you know, you can't get better players at this time, but you got to get your players better. And in the same fashion, I want to extend that and say you got to get the best out of them doing the things that they do well. And that looks like what they've done, because I see some changes on their offense from the last time that we've been here.
Yep.
And that's what the good coaches do. Coach Blackman is seeing, you know, he can't get better players, but he's got to get the best out of the ones he's got and make the plays that they can.
Three receivers to the top of the screen, and Burkhalter fires that one out. Abrams drain again. Now he comes back all the way across the field, slips a tackle, and he's tripped up at the 30. Going to lose a couple, bring up third down here. Ooh, you can see how explosive he is every
good
time he
hustle
touches the ball.
by Dana Foster Allen, I think it is, there to stay with the play.
Might have been
Catch him
Chavers.
coming back, was it?
It's Chavers right here, 44.
Oh, yeah, that's who it was, 44.
Yeah, and he didn't get him clean, but he got enough of them.
Yep.
All right, we'll take a heat timeout here. Halfway through the first, scoreless. Third down coming up at about 5 for the Toros. We're on the hill for a 6A Region 1 matchup. Couple unbeaten teams in region play tonight here on UTV 44. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Terry Reeves on the sideline. Jared Keyhouse in the truck. Daniel Hicks, our statistician tonight. And something to keep in mind, Toro's already in field goal range here and could come into play with two evenly matched teams. They want the screen. They come out. Caleb Purdy with the catch, and the big lanky receiver has got a touchdown up the near side. Got inside the 15 and turned on the speed. And a screen play goes 30 yards, and Caleb Purdy, the junior, was Purdy on that one.
Well-designed play. I don't think I've ever seen the screen ran like that. They kind of half-rolled the quarterback out to the right, and then came back to the left with a screen. I mean, if you executed, that ought to score every time, Dan Brennan.
Yeah, and it was complete misdirection on that one, and they just had the numbers on that side.
Absolutely.
And you got
you're going to get the numbers by virtue of rolling into the right, because, you know, the flow is going to go that way.
And it did.
Yes.
30 yards, and Matt Quinn for the PAT. You know what he cost them in lost balls each year? They go over the facility here.
They're happy with that. That's right.
They got it in the budget.
Toros score first. They're on top 7-0 on the big play. The touchdown from Burkhalter to Purdy to take the lead in this one. Big start here for the Toros as they get the ball after their defense forces St. Paul's to punt, and it's got their crowd happy here tonight. Breast cancer awareness, lots of pink. You'll see it in all the football games you're watching here as Jordan Ingram goes back into the end zone. And that St. Paul's defense, we talked about that, not giving up a lot of yards each game, only giving up 192 all game. Well, the Saints went about 91, or the Toros went about 91 on that drive. There it is, 11 plays, just under 4 minutes. Impressive for Spanish.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, St. Paul's looked like they had something going their first offensive drive. They stall out around the 40. They punt it. Fair caught at the 9-yard line. You're thinking, okay, they're going to trade some punches. But instead, not a lot of trading on that one. It was all Spanish Fort, 91 yards and 7.
Here come the Saints from the 20. Ingram trying to get to the outside. He was met at the hole. Looked like he had a little something there, but then Terrence Watts, the senior linebacker, came up, did a great job on that one, Vic Lockett.
Yeah, finished Coach Mass offensively there. just going to, hey, overload one side, come, and we're not tricking you.
Nope.
We're coming that way.
That's right.
And we're just going to see who's going to be tough enough.
Well, you got a talented, tough back, too. So you like that. You like your odds with that.
Sure.
And you figure you guys are going to get a hat on the hat and let him punch his way through the phone booth and get you 7, right?
Absolutely. Complete the call, huh?
Yep.
So Jay Green on 2nd and 7. Right back to Jordan. They'll go to the left side. And Ingram will get up to the 25. Going to bring up 3rd and 5 here. We talked about Brady Ward, the right tackle, being out for the Saints, and that's a big loss. 6'7", 306 pounds.
Got offers from everybody except Auburn and Alabama is what his dad told me today.
Yep. So Zach Reiner gets the start. He's a junior, 6'1", 258. And then you see Javonte Graves Billups. He's their leading receiver. Green has only thrown for 1 touchdown pass throughout the season here. And Javonte Graves Billups was the one who came down with it. So 3rd and 5.
Also certainly saying prayers for Brady Ward's return to health.
Play clock down at 5, but Green has time. Now wants to float it down the far side. He's going up, able to get that one complete. Hauling it down. Up high there, Bill Johnson. We see him play running back more than usually split out, but Johnson, the junior, uses that 6-foot height to go up and pull this one down.
Nice job by Green, dropping that one right in the bucket. Good pass, good catch, good execution, as St. Paul's normally does.
19-yard pickup.
Yeah, really nice pass outside the numbers right there.
Boy, St. Paul's, they needed that first down. You could just feel from a little bit. I know it's early in the game, but a 3-and-out was not going to be their friend there.
Do some wildcat.
Yep, going to go direct to A.J. Finley. Finley, slippery a little bit, but it's maybe back to the line of scrimmage, but had pressure by Ryan Duff, who's played well this year at linebacker, came in there and slowed Finley down. Yeah. Finley, he had not rushed the ball since week 1.
Wow.
That was the first time carrying the ball since.
Big night, big game. You got to get all hands on deck where they can be best on deck.
See Finley, 6'2", 180 pounds.
Going to Ole Miss, he says. So, hey.
I noticed when somebody's committed to Bama, Vic never says going to Bama. He says he never says that. Is this when he's at one of the other SEC schools?
It's still
Vic.
early, you know. We may get in there.
I'm just pointing that out, Vic. Just saying.
Well, I am biased. Self-admitted.
Blitz coming. Green got a flag, and then Montage Cooks will sling him back all the way near the 30-yard line.
And Green almost pulled a magic trick and got out of trouble there, but at the last minute there.
Well, this could be a holding. They're going to decline the holding. No. Take the sack in the down here.
Yeah, if it's a hold, you just go ahead and say thank you, but no thank you. What good job by Green.
Yeah.
Getting out of that
Montage
first
says,
problem.
No, I'm not going to let you get out of this one.
Line of scrimmage being won so far.
Yeah, boy, 12
definitively by Spanish Fort.
You're right, 12-yard loss. And you lose the down as well on the sack. 3rd and 21.
Well, they do not want to be in anything similar to this at all.
Now they got spread out here for St. Paul's. They got twins.
Kenny Brown to the bottom. Toros rush just 3. Green floats it over the middle looking for Finley, and it's picked off. Mike Miller comes up with the interception for the Toros. Miller trying to break free as he brought down at the 49-yard line. A flag back behind the play as well. Now flags over, then a very late hit. One of the Toros came in with a big late hit on one of the Spanish Fort players. Ooh. Oh, and now you have coaches out pulling players back. Wow, wow, wow. There are flags everywhere.
Well, it didn't take long for this thing to heat up again, Jim.
So Mike Miller's really talented back there.
I mean, he did a job just to track that ball in.
So there was a flag behind the play. Then there was something more downfield. Then there's a very late hit. Carlos Johnson, number 90, put a big late hit on the Toros. I didn't see what happened with the St. Paul's player over there.
Yeah, I saw St. Paul's player tumble. He got hit, but I don't know. It was at the top of our screen, so you didn't get you couldn't ID the player.
And then there was one, I mean, really well after the whistle that brought the flags that are the flag that's all the way back at the 34-yard line.
That could have been, I don't know, maybe retaliation of the
Well, we don't want this to get into this game.
No.
And the great thing about it, we saw both coaches going over there, separating it, qualling this down and saying, hey, we're not going to play the football game like this. Two classy guys knowing, hey, we're just going to play football, execute plays, and play.
But,
we don't want that to go on anything after the whistle. Like it between the lines, between the whistles, good, clean football game.
yeah, but I think also from a coach's perspective, you don't want to take emotion out of the game all the way.
But it's got to be channeled correctly.
It does. It does.
All right, let's get
During the return, there were 3 penalties on the receiving team.
Wow.
Defenseless player, penalty was declined. Defenseless player, that penalty is accepted. It'll be 15 yards from the spot. We have a dead ball on sportsman on the receiving team. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal line.
Wow. So you got 30 yards or basically in penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. And we know both these coaches don't want the game played this way, and I'm sure they'll, get this corrected really quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, it's going to
take.
take.
We're real early in the football game. We got a ways to go.
Yeah.
That's going to take them all the way back to the 12-yard line, and all of them happened on the far side of the field. So the Spanish Fort coaching staff probably didn't have a great vantage point as to what happened there.
No, and just to add fuel to the fire, St. Paul's did. So St. Paul's, apparently, if what the referee said happened, got to witness 3 of their guys getting cracked pretty good.
Yep.
That wasn't necessary. Let's see what that does.
Well, net, Spanish Fort almost eradicates a great play that they made by putting themselves in the shadow of their goalpost to offer something that just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But if we can
I
take
don't want to be too descriptive on it.
But
They're
we-
still kids.
take the first drive as any evidence. This is where St. Paul's needs to step up defensively. They were not able to do the first drive.
And maybe this will ignite them.
And that's my point. Maybe this is the thing they need. But, boy, they were getting whipped on the line of scrimmage the first time out on defense.
Burkhalter goes right back to Mike Franklin. Franklin will pick up 3 up to the 15. Well, he is a good-looking running back there, 6'1", 215. That's a nice weapon to have, Vic Loggett.
Yeah, if you tackle him, you square up with him, you better bring your hips with it.
Just inside 2 minutes here in the opening quarter. Both these teams unbeaten in the region. Both teams 4-1. Spanish Fort ranked number 3 in 6A. St. Paul's ranked number 10. Again, St. Paul's bumped up. You might have heard a little something about that this summer. Bumped up from 5A to 6A.
Little scuttlebutt.
Franklin on the right side, driving ahead. He's going to pick up a few more. A little more gang tackling here by St. Paul's on this drive.
Yeah, Coach Massey loved to play in this phone booth like this.
He does.
But I think they've had a problem when Spanish Fort has gotten fancy, spread them out, and did their little execution of their fancy plays.
Yeah, you're right. They've had a lot of Spanish Fort's first drive. They were able to really attack the perimeter and get some good plays for their skilled people and a blocker or 2 out in front, which is probably what they're going to try right here.
Yep, Abrams drain out wide to the bottom of the screen. Purdy comes in motion. Finn Heath over there as well. Burkhalter rolls, looks, fires this one up almost into the crowd.
He had a man, and I think mentally he knew that's where he wanted to go, but he was looking somewhere else, and he just ended up in between mentally because that was a totally errant pass.
Yeah, flag on the far side of the field, but you're right, Finn Heath
was off to the races.
Behind everyone.
Yeah, it was kind of a couple of routes that mirrored each other. One was deeper than the other.
On the offensive team, penalty is declined.
Well,
4th down.
Maybe that eased the blow, because if he throws it to Finn Heath,
it's coming back anyway.
It's coming back regardless of how far Heath would have gotten. But a big stop by
Yeah,
St.
but
Paul's.
I think they'd have got a chance to repeat the down, wouldn't they? So, yeah,
True.
He would have rather
Ryan
took the penalty and completed the pass.
That's true. Ryan Duff on to punt here for the Toros, and A.J. Finley will stand right around his own 46-yard line.
I don't know if we've got better audio availability on the sidelines when we're here.
But we're hearing a lot.
We hear it all.
All right. Duff. Kick angling toward the far sides. It takes a Toro bounce, but then Finley picks it up and able to add about 10 to it. So St. Paul's will have very good field position on the plus side of the 50 to start this drive.
Because of the bad play.
Yep. High school football games going on tonight. Excel with the big win over St. Michael last night. Theodore and Murphy in 7A. McGill-Toolen up 22-0 over Foley right now. Davidson and Mary G. Baker leads Fairhope 10-7 early in that one. Blunt and Bryant. Gulf Shores and Saraland. Saraland up first on that one. Daphne and Baldwin County tonight. 6-3 Trojans right now there. Robertsdale and BC Ring. A whole host of games. Got a big one in 4A tonight. UMS taking on last year's 3A champs Hillcrest Evergreen. Jackson and Thomasville tonight. Viger, number 1 team in 5A in action as well. And the pitch coming to the near side, and Jordan Ingram hit. The ball came loose. I think the Toros got it. We're going to say he's down. Is the official going to say I think the official's saying, is he saying he's down, Vic Lockett?
Wow. Yep, looks like he is.
Oh, wow.
I heard a lot of cracking there, but I wasn't really looking at the ball. I was trying to check out some of the stuff going on in the trenches, but St. Paul's very fortunate to retain possession here. Let's see.
Coming right at Vanya Kai. Yeah. Oh, boy, that ball is out.
And usually when it happens like that on the team sideline, close to their sideline that got the ball or the fumble, well, it usually ends up going that way because they influence the refs, believe it or not.
Ben Blackman is not happy at the moment. That'll bring the quarter to a close, so the Saints catch a break there on that one. And they got second down coming up at the 35. We're through one on the hill. It's a good one. 6A Region 1 matchup. Couple unbeaten teams doing battle tonight here on the Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals presented by Bishop State Community College. Pre-game hype has lived up to it thus far here tonight. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Tara Reeves on the sideline. Jared Kihas in the truck. Daniel Hicks, our statistician, and our great UTV 44 crew getting us all set up for one of our favorite places to come here into Spanish Fort to watch a game.
Closest to Jim's house.
And it's not just the vantage point, and it's not just the atmosphere, but it's the games that often break out here, and we may have one of those games.
Yeah, the two times that these two teams met in the playoffs, 2010, 2012, Steve Mask said it was the de facto state championship game. Yep. And whoever wins this game is going to win state. Spanish Fort won them both and went on and won one state each year. 2nd and 7 here to start the second quarter for the Saints. Jay Green quickly out the right side. Going to hit it complete. And Javante Graves Billups.
Nice job by Billups. Just catch the football, go upfield.
Get a first down.
Yep. You know, a lot of times these receivers, they dance too much. And when they catch the ball, hey, just get forward progress. And that's the thing you see at Georgia and Alabama, Jim.
You get where you got to go.
Correct.
And especially down in distance right there, he needed that first down.
Correct.
That's what he got.
Move the sticks, kick the sticks, get a first down.
Good for him.
Put it at the 28. For the Saints, 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 up top. They'll go to Ingram, and they bring it back around at the near side. Try to turn the corner and slip away is Bill Johnson, who had the big catch in the first quarter, but the Toros defense stays home, and you got a flag.
Yeah.
It's going to be the block in the back.
Yeah.
That's coming
big
right.
Big time block in the back right here by 68. Yep.
Boy.
He had no shot. That was
I didn't
Ivan
see
Schultz.
the flag, but, sometimes I think that in the line of scrimmage needs to go ahead and be not worried about anyway, because I'm going to tell you, I could get up there and turn my back.
Okay,
I don't
so
see
maybe it's not a flag.
Paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could turn my back and make you block me in the back when, you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
all
lose.
Right. Maybe I missed that one.
2, and Monte Billups comes in motion here, fired out the far side, incomplete, and then Finley takes a big wallop as well as Ryan Duff, the linebacker, is there. So they incomplete, and Finley gets
Very
whacked
similar
on the
to play what Spanish Fort did, just the execution wasn't done as well as Spanish Fort did.
Yeah, well,
they had the action going to the opposite way, and they were trying to settle tunnel screen
like
back to the left.
Spanish Fort's done their homework, is what it looks like.
So on the first drive of the game, St. Paul's got down to the Spanish Fort 35, and then they struggled and ended up having to punt, and now they're at 3rd and 12 from the 30. They, too, have a big leg kicker, Jackson Fowler. Jordan Ingram in the backfield, and I think a timeout.
Play clock
before
running
the snap.
down.
Yeah, I think timeout before the snap there by the Saints. That's their second here in the first half.
I think both timeouts came when they were
3rd down and deep,
and trying to keep from being penalized with the play clock. That not ideal.
So we talked about what you look at here in 6A Region 1. So Saraland unbeaten and leading early tonight in their game. Then you got Spanish Fort unbeaten in the region. St. Paul's unbeaten in the region. And Blunt 3-1. And then you got Daphne and Baldwin County matching up tonight. Baldwin County desperately needing a win in that one. And you know, there are some people probably in the town in which we're broadcasting tonight that are looking, projecting ahead to the last week of the regular season when the top 2 teams listed there will play in Saraland. A lot of football between now and then, including a lot of football tonight. But I'll just say there are some people over here that are talking about what that potential matchup could be.
That's also become a natural rivalry, hasn't it, Vic, on both sides of the bay?
Sure.
Programs that are similar, programs with similar players, similar expectations. I mean, Saraland hasn't quite gotten to the Spanish Fort.
Absolutely, I was about to say that.
Stratosphere, but they're getting good.
More games going on tonight. How about Williamson? What a great start they're having so far here tonight. T.R. Miller playing host Mobile Christian tonight. Bayside and Flomaton, Cottage Hill on the road. Chickasaw at home, and Millry and Marengo and Sweetwater and McIntosh here on 3rd and 12 for the Saints. Green out of the backfield. Jordan Ingram. Ingram tried to cut it back and got to the 29-yard line. Nothing doing there, and I lost his footing, but part of that is because he looked up and saw that Ryan Duff was right in front of him.
Yeah, he was in his hip pocket, but I kind of felt like he probably outrun him to the sideline, but apparently he knows his speed a lot better than I do.
Yeah, he did come off the gas there and try to cut it back where there was more pursuit.
Yeah. I thought he should have just tried to run it on around the edge.
All right, this is going to be a
46.
Spotted from the 36. So it'll be a 46-yard attempt for Jackson Fowler. He's got a big leg from the near hash. And Fowler did not get all of that one. It looked like that timing was a little off. It looked like he expected the snap to come a little sooner.
It didn't look right.
Yeah,
I don't even know if the kid number 2 tipped it. So
no,
timing was off. Did he tip it or not?
I think he had started. He almost had a little hitch there, and so didn't get the full leg on it. So
not good enough to overcome that.
Yeah. So now St. Paul's has made it to the 35 and the 29 and been turned away each time.
Now, what's striking to me, guys, in the past couple of weeks is becoming pedestrian and expected that we're kicking 40-plus yard field goals.
No question.
In high school.
No question about it.
I mean, we can't get one of them at Bama. We get them, but we mess them up when they get there.
Here's breaking news. We got 5 of everything else.
But I tell you what, these kids are learning to kick field goals these days.
Well, the Toros get it back here. Pitch to Franklin. There's a flag. That's going to be
likely a hold.
Yeah, it didn't even have much time to develop. And let's go down to Tara. She's got one of her educator spotlights brought to you by Coastal Alabama Community College. Tara.
I'm joined with Blair Fisher, head of school at St. Paul's Episcopal. And now, Blair, this is the second time this season that we've been able to cover St. Paul's. So far, I like what I see. What can you tell us about St. Paul's?
Well, we're hanging tough tonight. Spanish Fort is a really, really good team, and we're doing our best to hold on. St. Paul's, we're really fortunate in Mobile that there's a lot of really good educational opportunities and different options for families, but we really feel like the more you know about St. Paul's, the more compelling an option it becomes. So we have 4 pillars that we build our program around, because we really try to build the entire child. So we have academics, the arts, athletics, and spirituality and service. So what we want to do, Tara, is we want to try to take kids from where they are and get the most out of them to move them as far as they possibly can be and to get the most growth out of them, not only as a student but also as a human being as well. So we try to be what we call the one carpool school, so that a family that may have a kid who's great at athletics and another kid that's great at academics, or a tech kid or an artistic kid, where they can get out of the same car and all have a terrific experience.
I really love that. And you mentioned before, exciting game. Is there anything exciting or unique or new going on at St. Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great time to be a Saint. We have a brand new building that we're under construction, about an $8 million new student commons building. So it's a nice dining room, but it also has new spaces for technology and STEM, for maker spaces, and a new writing center, a community education classroom, because we try to do outreach as well to local parents and to other educators in the area, community service space and spirituality. So it's really going to unlock our schedule and allow us to do a lot of really cool things in the years ahead that we can't do currently with our lack of space.
Thank you so much, Blair.
Oh, terrific. Thanks for letting me have you here. Thank you.
Right. Thanks so much, Tara. And our Educator Spotlight brought to you by Coastal Alabama Community College. So big run there by Franklin on the 1st and 20, picked up 13. And now a couple here for the Toros, and 3rd and 4 coming up from the 26. Back to Franklin. Trying to come to the near side. What a great play. Flying in to make the tackle is Reggie Bracey. What a play, Vic Lockett.
Absolutely. I mean, you talking about seeing it and going get it. That's what that kid did right there. And maybe a little shaken up, too.
Yeah, it looks like he's holding his shoulder here. Watch him get behind the block and delivered the
Oh, yeah. And his arm
textbook.
kind of got caught behind him there.
Yeah.
That didn't look nice at all.
Yeah, perfect form, leading with the shoulder there. But
yeah, and he's a little bit disoriented, too. So let's hope they check him out up in his head as well, because we certainly don't want this kid to get back out there if he doesn't have all his faculties.
Well, that's a big guy that he's tackling, and
you don't want much of his thighs, do you?
No, that's a big guy from the waist down.
We're talking about when we have our doctors from AOC on the pregame show, we talk about landing with your arm extended out behind you, and that really what that looked like.
Typical there.
Yeah, is that? I said there was a flag on the field earlier when it was just a piece of something else, but that does look like a flag there right at the play. I'm not sure what that would have.
It's another St. Paul's defender he's a junior. He's got good size. You can see he's got good speed.
Played well in the game we saw.
He did.
Against Blunt. 4 pass breakups, a sack, and 2 forced fumbles so far on the year for Reggie Bracey. They'll put him on the offensive side of the ball a little bit as well. One of those playmakers that take advantage of for just a few plays a game.
Good size, good speed, and that was a really nice play. We just saw. You hate to see that. The result, at least momentarily, is he's a little banged up. But Vic, I'm with you. It's kind of like he ran into a tree.
Sure.
He knocked the tree down, but he paid a bit of a price, and hopefully he's going to be at some point able to come on back in here and play.
Yeah, let's pray he's A-okay, because toward the end there, nothing looked really good there, and then I thought he's a little bit woozy, but thank God he's up walking off now.
Good player. They won't feel the sting of this immediately because now it's 4th down. So whoever would replace Bracey, Jim, see that the next time that Spanish Fort has got the football, but it's a heck of a play.
Still have not.
The refs are conferring now, so if there is a flag, they'll let us know and give us a judgment.
Yeah, A.J. Finley's back ready to get the punt for St. Paul's.
They should have good field position again. St. Paul's, by the way, got a big break on a
unsporting act on the offensive team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line.
Wow.
4th down.
At this point, they're really starting to hurt the mission, which is to win the game.
5 penalties for 70 yards against.
More points on the board than the other team, Dano.
Well, for Spanish Fort here in the first half. So now you're punting from your own end zone, and you got Finley, who's very dangerous right at midfield.
A lot of
play to win the game, right?
I think you do. A lot of riffraff after the whistling. They're going to have to clean that up.
Well, Coach Blackman, we'll have a conversation and get this straightened out.
Duff takes the low snap, gets off a great punt Finley watches it go over his head and down at the 32-yard line.
Man, that was a college punt there, and we still got a flag, don't we?
I was going to say, all these college athletes on the field, that looked like an SEC punt right there.
43 yards net on the punt. All right, Howard, trivia question here. So Steve Mask, head coach of the Saints, he needs one win to tie what coach to become the second all-time winningest coach in St. Paul's history. So win here tonight, or whenever he gets his next one, 76-14. He'll move up to number 2 all-time in a tie for number 2 at St. Paul's. We'll tell you about that one in the fourth quarter. Ben Blackman, last week, Toros were off. Ben was under the weather watching the game on TV, and he told us at midfield, he said, I got the trivia question. He said, I knew it was Joe Dean and Eddie Tyler. I got the trivia question right. So thanks to Ben for watching.
He was woozy when he got it right.
You two totally full faculties, and neither one were able to come up with the...
I had half right. Give me a half a point.
Yeah, and I really didn't like the half that you missed, Vic Lockett, I'll be honest with you. So
now what's the discussion, Jim?
Well, they had a flag back there on the punt, and I don't know what the infraction was, so I think they're discussing it. You know, Whitehead will tell us right now.
Defenseless player on the... I couldn't hear exactly what the official was saying.
Would that be the center, the snapper?
That's probably a good point.
Yeah,
because you don't want him anymore.
Yeah, because Finley let it go over his head, and there was no return.
I thought it must have been after the punt, which is not usually the case if you're rushing right at the snap.
Yeah, because that happens during the play there.
Where was the? I didn't even see there was the flag. Where was the flag thrown?
Yeah, the flag was back at
the
Whitehead actually threw the flag.
Okay. I didn't quite understand what he said, but I think he indicated it was after the punt had been kicked, and that's why it's still St. Paul's ball.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that backs the Saints all the way back to the 17-yard line.
They're both asking for it, right?
Jay Green looks right, wants to come to the near side, trying to go up and get Kenny Brown, and he does, and Brown's got it up to the 44-yard line.
You talk about one-on-one and high-pointing the football, playing above the rim. That's what he did right there.
He did, and Ben likes his corners one-on-one, or at least he does on this play, and Gaffney never gets his head around. And that's really a pitch and catch right there.
Yeah, it's a fatal flaw, not getting your head around. Tell us Bama fans about that.
27 yards through the air for Jay Green, his best play tonight offensively here for the Saints as we're closing in on the halfway point of the second quarter. Green gives it off. Jordan Ingram straight up the middle, and he'll pick up 3 here. It'd be good for some confidence for Green with that big play there to Kenny Brown.
And it looks like they're going to have to be a little more diversified offensively. It's just not. I think Steve Mask would prefer Ingram off tackle and Ingram on a pitch, but to this point, Spanish Fort defense is not giving you all that much.
Now they shift strong side to the right. Raymond Bell, the fullback. He's out there leading ahead for Ingram on the right side, and Ingram shows some speed and explosiveness there through the hole, and he's got a first down into Toro territory.
Well, if you're wondering why St. Paul's gets the ball to him, that's the reason right there. He does have explosive speed. He's got good size, and look at the hole too. Like you said, Jim, they came strong side. Well, they just pretty much laid it out there. Here's where we're coming, and here they came.
Yeah, nice job out there by Raymond Bell, sealing it off. His dad's an attorney, and then his granddad's a good doctor in town.
All right, heat timeout halfway through the second. 7-0 Spanish Fort and St. Paul's here on the Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals, presented by Bishop State Community College. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Tara Reeves on the sidelines, Jared Kihas in the truck. Our entire crew here on a Friday night in Spanish Fort. Daniel Hicks, our statistician here, is St. Paul's on 1st and 10. Green trying to get it to the outside, and nothing doing there. Sam Hoover, the senior linebacker, with a great play there. A couple of things to pass your way. Warren Butler watching over in Mobile, and just give us a quick report. We talked about the big UMS game tonight at home, taking on Hillcrest Evergreen, who won the 3A state championship last year, and now they're in 4A, so it's rare you have 2 state champions in the same region. And UMS up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter against the defending 3A state champions. Everybody looking forward to that one. And Terry Curtis, he has got it going on Old Shell Road. So thanks for Warren Butler for updating us on that one. Loss of 1 on first down for Green. Now Green with pressure coming, gets it to Ingram, and Ingram slows down Hoover momentarily, but falls forward. It's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Looked like they had the right play call to the right side because the blitz came over there. But tell you what, Spanish Fort just playing good team defense. Even though the blitz is coming, the guys in the secondary come up and make the tackle, and that's what you expect.
I think, yeah, and I think that they've improved as the season's gone along as well.
And it goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier. You know, that's what these good coaches do, you know. You can't get any better players. You got to get these players better and start playing the plays that you got that you can execute really well to go down the stretch and get you into the playoffs.
3rd and 12. Here for the Saints. Ingram split out to the bottom of the screen. Pressure coming. Green fires that one and did not get it up to Devontae Graves Billups because the pressure was coming, and another punt coming up for the Saints.
It makes all the sense in the world if you see a throw that's short. Did the quarterback have pressure right in his face? And he did. He wasn't able to really step into it.
Good job by the Saints, however, at least getting this one up near midfield, able to flip the field again because they were pinned way back.
And it was the big play, the big pass to the outside.
27-yard gain.
What they've not been able to do, Jim, is really establish the run. That's really essentially who they are. But Spanish Fort has taken that away from them so far tonight.
Paso on to punt. Abrams drained back around his own 10. Paso ends that one. And Drain, is he going to pick it up? Of course he will, as he's inside the 10. And he turns up the sideline and picks up a few. And
picked up a good block there, too.
Yeah. And let's go down to Tara. She's got another educator spotlight from our friends at Coastal Alabama Community College.
I sure do. I have the entire Spanish Fort front office staff. First, I have Rachel. Now, Rachel, what's something fun that you guys did this week in preparation for the game?
So this week we actually hid vouchers around the school for free tickets to tonight's game, and then we gave the students clues for them to find the tickets, and we had 3 winners that came forth and got them.
So exciting. And then Leah, as someone who both works at Spanish Fort and had children go through and currently have a player on Spanish Fort's team, what was it like to work at a place where your kids grew up?
It gave me a great opportunity to get to build relationships with my kids' teachers, and it really gave me a deeper appreciation for what they do and their dedication to our kids. We've got a great staff at Spanish Fort High School.
You sure do, which leads me to Amy. So, Amy, what would you say is your favorite thing about Spanish Fort?
It's definitely the kids. I feel like our faculty and staff do a wonderful job of really trying to get to know them. It's just a joy to get to hang out with these kids every day.
And then Tisa, she actually checked me in whenever I would be late during the mornings, you guys. So we got to give her a little bit of grace. You've been here a while. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but Tisa, how long have you been at Spanish Fort High?
We're on my 13th year.
13th year, and we love Tisa. We love the entire front office staff. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you. Good for it.
All right, and everybody at home doing quick math, trying to figure out how old Tara is now.
Can you tell she is a proud alumnus of Spanish Fort, and I assure you she was not tardy too often.
Well, they didn't bring up any of her suspensions, and I'm not saying there were any.
I don't think there were.
Okay.
I met her father last week, fine man, and I know he's brought her up really well.
Spanish Fort family reunion down there was brought to you by Coastal Alabama Community College. Thank you for bringing our educator spotlight to us. And a first down here for the Toros, up to the 30, inside 3 minutes to go.
All first downs have been big first downs.
Burkhalter far side to Abrams Drain, who's pushed out of the bounds after a gain of about 7.
Yeah, Abrams Drain's carrying that football like a loaf of bread, as the statement goes. Just tells how confident he is of his ball skills and, you know, what he knows he can produce. Hey, I'll catch this football, and I'll politely step beside you here. with my luggage in my hand.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
2nd and 3. Franklin drops the shoulder at the 40, and he's going to have another first down for the Toros.
With Franklin, shoulder gets dropped, somebody gets dropped.
And yards get gained.
And yards get gained. And he does fall forward. This is the young guy.
Not correct English, but that's exactly what happens.
He's a Spanish Fort from Daphne, and really wasn't ready to play earlier in the season, and maybe he's in as good a shape as he's been all season.
Yeah, it was a whole weird thing with the family. He actually was going to go to Davidson, moved over to Mobile, and then back over. It was a very weird, stressful situation for the young man.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Burkhalter fires this one up, looking for Finn Heath, and he's got it at the 32. And Heath has the first down to the 31, matched up against A.J. Finley, and he's able to pull that one down, and that's a big one for the Toros.
Finn Heath was just a guide last year. Now he's being asked to be more than a guy, just the guy, but more one of the guys, right?
Well, that's what Blackman does. He finds talent, get the football in their hands. Julian Little back there, I thought he was going to intercept it. He kind of turned around, located the football. I thought he was going to play on it, but he didn't make a play on it, and as a result, 25 comes down with it.
29-yard gain. Abrams drain now. He looks to throw it. He's looking for Purdy now on the far side. He's got it launched to the end zone for the touchdown. It's Xavier Love, the junior. And Abrams drain, we said he could play some quarterback. And he goes 32 yards on that one for the touchdown. And that was a pretty offensive concept, as they say, Vic Lockett.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, my guy Love, I told you guys he called me a couple of weeks ago and said he enjoyed us calling the game. This is why we enjoy calling the game when you're making plays like that, Love. Good job to catch that thing low by his knees, Dano.
Yeah,
didn't have the presence to turn around and dive for the end zone.
Not an easy
Fantastic,
play.
yeah.
Yeah, and again, X's and O's are one thing. Jimmy's and Joe's
are everything, in my opinion.
And Jimmy threw it to Joe, and that looked good.
So Mr. Love's going to be proud of him making that great play, and that's why we like calling games when players make plays like that.
Yes, sir.
Big plays, a 32-yard touchdown pass there, 30 in the first quarter, and 30-yard pass, and that's where we're at now. And Spanish Fort going to get the football as well to start the second half.
We've been talking about Franklin, and that's where the change that I've seen. Love, I think, was the apparent starter, and Franklin's now back and healthy, and he's the starter, and that just shows how much talent they have over here.
They move Love to wide receiver. Let's tell you about Andy Citron Injury Attorneys. Friday Night Rivals, brought to you by our friends at Andy Citron Injury Attorneys. 251-888-8888. Call Andy. Andy wins, and we thank him for jumping on board with high school football on UTV 44 this season. And I know he's enjoying watching the games.
That's called getting everybody on the bus, but not only getting them on the bus, Dano, getting them in the right seats.
You got it.
And that's what Coach Blackman does. Get them in the right seats.
The explosion plays have all been Spanish Fort tonight.
Yep.
And again, St. Paul's puts their they definitely want to be a come-at-you downhill sort of team.
They want to play in that phone booth.
Right, and Spanish Fort wants to kind of mix it up and misdirect and use some of the talent that they've got.
Which is a great strategy because, you don't want to play into the other team's hands.
If it's not your game.
Exactly.
And so let's see if it begins to change the offensive thinking of St. Paul's maybe just a little bit.
Not that they don't have the ability to play on the perimeter, because we saw some great passes by Green and everything to do it. But, I understand Mask and I understand his style, and certainly you want to play to your style.
Now a high pooch kick to the near side. Taken by Harry Brown, trying to turn the corner, and there's a flag for blocking the back, and Brown lowers the shoulder to make some contact. And Kenny Brown lost his helmet on that one. I think called him Harry. Sorry about that. Kenny Brown lost his helmet on that one. Harry Brown, former mayor over here on this side of the bay.
Well, you're so worldwide, Jim. You have a lot of things in your head. I don't even know how you do it. You do such a fantastic job lining it up, getting it set.
So he looks down at the roster.
I look over to Dan and say what to say.
Well, that's good luck with that. You got two flags on the play, so obviously at least one of them, if not both, Spanish Fort with a blocking violation. So any chance that Spanish Fort inside this final minute 12 has been diminished now to try and do something offensively.
Yeah, St. Paul's. They're
St. Paul,
yeah, blocking the back, and they got the ball here. So now there's a third flag over on the sideline.
Sideline warning?
Maybe, yeah. When Tim Porter's got the notepad out, that's always a sign that there's a lot to be discussed here.
Verdict's coming up.
The walk-off has already started. So
in the World Cup, it means they're putting a player on a flight. You can go back to Uruguay now.
During the return, there were 2 penalties. 1 live ball, 1 dead ball. On the receiving team, we have a block in the back. It's 10 yards from the spot. We then have a dead ball on the kicking team, an unsporting act. Be 15 yards. It'll be 1st and 10, St. Paul's.
Wow. Another 15-yard post-whistle penalty.
That's 3
against
4, maybe.
Daniel Hicks
says 5.
Wow.
With 2 teams that normally don't commit such errors.
But 5 all on Spanish Fort. Is that right?
And so Ben Blackman
after the whistle. Boy.
You can see the dejection in his body language coming off from talking to the ref. So neither one of these coaches want the game played this way.
Well, Ben's probably also factoring in a fumble he saw right in front of him.
Yeah, he hasn't forgotten that.
No, and so he's thinking, okay, what have the refs done to us to this point? But his own team's got to calm down a little bit after the whistle.
Boy, there is some popping going on out there.
Now, that's what the coaches want to hear. They want a game that's like that, where there's helmets popping, everything's clean, no flags on the play. Execute your play, stop the play.
Yeah,
do what you're supposed to do.
One is not absent of the other. I think it's all related. I think a lot of the popping has to do with the fact that these teams are a little under each other's skin a little bit, too.
Yeah.
Backed in a corner.
It's not liking each other.
So a gain of just 1 there on 1st down, and Spanish Fort takes a timeout. They had all 3, so take a timeout here trying to see maybe we can stop when they're saying, get the ball back, and something else happen here before the half comes to a close.
Well, they've been so explosive on offense, Jim. You can't blame them for having the idea, let's get it back and see what happens, take our chances.
Our Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals presented by Bishop State, a great place to start. Long-time supporters of high school football here on UTV 44. And again, back for another season. We thank them for their continued support. Glad to have them. So Daniel Hicks, our statistician, 6 penalties on Spanish Fort for 85 yards now.
You wonder if Brady Ward, who's a really good offensive tackle, wonder if how much this is hurting the St. Paul's offense, because they haven't been what they hope to be tonight. And you got, one of the best offensive linemen in the city of Mobile.
Exactly.
Not in the game.
Yep, big loss. 2nd and 9, little play action now rolling out, fired, and over the middle, Javante Graves Billups able to grab that. I wasn't sure exactly where that ball was going momentarily.
From perspective, the depth there kind of confused you.
Yeah, I thought he was going to the outside.
Well executed.
He went to the next level and got a bigger play. So with the 1st down, and how about this now? St. Paul saying, you call a timeout? Okay. Maybe we can make something out of this.
Gate of 13, another well-thrown ball by Green, and he'll go under center. Hands it off. Ingram.
And they go back to bread and butter.
Yep. Mitchell
Fold that little guard around. Come up in there and hopefully cleans it out.
Babs in there to make the stop.
Right in that A gap, B gap.
Now who calls time?
We'll get another timeout here. This time it's St. Paul's taking their last timeout with 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, it's worth their time to talk it over with a pretty good kicker and maybe a player or 2 left in the bag to get it in position to try one.
So the Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals, also sponsored by Greer's since 1916. Also another longtime supporter of high school football, and Fusakli's, the Foo in football. 2 Buffalo chicken tenders I had right before the game. But 2. I had 2. Went down there, just 2 real quick ones.
He's bragging about 2 tenders. Wow. Man, that's my appetizer, dude.
The Buffalo. Got to be the Buffalo. Got to be the Buffalo.
No, I like the food sauce, brother, but come on. You got to at least knock down 7 of them, Jim.
Well, I do have to talk for 3 straight hours, Vic, and that could lead to some issues before after you do such things. So 20 seconds left, and let's see here. There's Jay Green mobility better tonight than we saw certainly against Blunt when he had the banged up ankle. Play action again. Looking, steps into the pocket. He's buried from behind, back at the 40.
Well, if you're going to get your mobility back, it looks like this is a good week because they're bringing people. And again, the Toros get to Green in the backfield. I think one thing about Green is he's a tough kid. He takes another hit right here. That's a blitz.
That's KJ.
Or I think they just kind of twirl them off.
Yeah.
A little stunt up front, and that's enough to end the half.
Yeah, KJ Anderson with the sack there and closes out the half here. Let's go down to Tara. She's got Ben Blackman. Tara.
Coach, huge score to extend your lead late in the half. How do you continue that momentum into the third and fourth quarter?
We got to continue to just pound the ball and make plays on offense. Our defense is playing pretty well. We got to eliminate penalties. We got too many penalties on the field, and it's a heated rivalry. Our kids are jacked up, and so we're getting some unforced penalties, and we got to cut that out in the second half and come back and play football.
Yeah, you mentioned the penalties playing against yourself, so how do you clean things up in the second half?
We got to talk about it, and we just got to play Toro football.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Ben Blackman, you know what halftime, you could probably guess how the halftime conversation will go there. So
we almost got it in advance.
Spanish Fort on top by 2 scores here, 14-0 at the end of tonight's game. We're going to give you some players of the week. But boy, Riley Leonard from Fairhope last week leading his team to the victory in overtime. Sophomore quarterback making his first start, and everybody, Dan Brennan, really impressed with this young man.
Yeah, we heard whispers about him before the game, just a sophomore, and he opened some eyes. Big, a really big ball game against a 6A rival, 7A Fairhope. And I guess that was kind of not a coronation, but certainly an announcement that this kid is going to be somebody to watch.
Yeah, and I think he's going to split time a little bit. Devin, probably going to still see Devin playing quarterback. He's healthy down there, but boy, he's going to be fun to watch the next 2 years. At the end of tonight's game, we'll have 3 players for you to vote on for the player of the game. You can go to utv44.com to vote and just click on the sports/Friday Night Rivals and vote to see who will be the player of the game this week. It's high school football tonight here in Spanish Fort. The Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals presented by Bishop State Community College, and the home team, the Toros, on top, 14-0. Halftime here on the hill. The home team, Spanish Fort, leads St. Paul's by a score of 14-0. And speaking of St. Paul's, let's go down and enjoy their marching band. Attorneys Friday Night Rivals presented by Bishop State Community College. Halftime here on the Hill. Spanish Fort on top of St. Paul's 14-0, and the home team's band just took the field. Citron Injury Attorneys. Friday night rivals here tonight. We're in Spanish Fort. The home team leads St. Paul's. Both these teams unbeaten in region play thus far, but it's the home team, the Toros, with the lead here. They've done it offensively and also defensively. Some big third down stops to get the ball back.
Yeah, I think quite simply, Spanish Fort to this point has been the more physical team, and they've been the more explosive team, and that's why we got 14-0.
Kind of what you expected maybe tonight here, Vic Lockett?
You kind of thought that. You think St. Paul's going to play a little bit buddy ball, boxing up in there, but Spanish Fort has been playing on the perimeter and being creative with their plays and spreading them out and getting them out of their game.
Yep, Spanish Fort scored on their first possession. We thought, uh-oh, this might be a runaway early on, because that was how dominant they were. They went 91 yards on the first possession and able to cap it off here with a touchdown pass. Third down conversion here is Kyle Purdy able to take that screen, and Vic Lockett liked how it was drawn up, and then this was St. Paul's. They were in a 3rd and long, and then you had Mike Miller coming up with the interception here, resulting in all kinds of penalties backing up the Toros. You heard Ben Blackman talk about that. And then this was another pretty play, but this time it's Chris Abrams-Drain who can play some quarterback, and he's able to go to Xavier Love, played running back earlier in the year, now starting there. And then the Toros coming, A.J. Henderson with a sack, and that thwarted another St. Paul's drive. And there you take a look at our halftime stats. Just 97 yards of total offense for St. Paul's. Doubling them up are the Toros. 9 of 10 through the air for Christian Burkhalter for 94 yards, and he's looked well for the Toros here in the first half, and they jumped out to that 7-0 lead, and then St. Paul's kind of got a little momentum back there, and here we are at the half, 14-0. It's the Toros with the lead, and Tara caught up with Steve Mass. What did Coach Mass have to say, Tara?
He said tonight they're struggling with something that they've struggled with all year. They get inside the 40 and they're not able to produce offensively. And then on defense, he said they busted one coverage and the Toros just took advantage of it and scored. It should be a 7-0 ball game here to start the second half. He said they still have a chance, though. They just have to prove themselves.
And they'll have to come out and play good defense.
You know, when St. Paul's has less than 20 yards rushing at the half, well, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, Coach Mass from that old school like Pat Dye, when they get that stat sheet at halftime and they don't have 50 or 100 yards rushing, they know they've got problems.
Yep. Yeah, that 14-0 score is not an accident.
So we wait here for Jackson Fowler to kick off. They were waiting for the clock to run all the way down to 0 after they put the extra 3 minutes on here, and now Fowler will kick off for the Toros.
But I think this is shaping up going to be a pretty good second half. We'll have to see St. Paul's dig themselves out of the hole here.
Yeah, St. Paul's got to get a stop here on this one to start things here in quarter number 3. Jackson Fowler, and he'll put that one into the end zone. That's another thing, Vic. Like you didn't used to see kickers routinely put them through the end zone in high school football either.
It is unbelievable. I mean, do we need to credit the soccer becoming more famous? I mean, I have no idea what's the orientation that we've evolved to where we are.
Might be some of it.
Yeah, I think for sure. But I think also just kids bigger, faster, stronger, and at every position on the field, including kickers.
Not all these kickers look like they're frightening people getting off the bus. How about last week? We almost had a legitimate chance at a 56-yard field goal, ending a game.
Yep.
Because he didn't make it a bad,
He didn't have a chance.
But he was capable.
Yeah, absolutely. So here come the Toros. Xavier Love coming all the way around the far side and up to around the 25-yard line.
Spanish Fort picking up where they left off, and we're going to try to get out there to the perimeters. We're not going to box you in the middle all day, even though they've had a lot of success running up the middle with Big Mike Franklin.
Yeah, a lot of good blocking up front with Franklin. He's not even been challenged in some of those, A-gap runs until he's 10 yards downfield.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You need to be multiple and be able to do both.
And here's Franklin again on the left side. And he's across the 30, and he's going to have a first down before Chavers brings him down there.
Right on cue. You know, he's got that hesitation like Le'Veon Bell there again. And once he sees the hole, he spurts through there.
A lot of nice things about this young guy. Just had a lot of turmoil over the summer that landed him in a couple of different spots, school district-wise, and hopefully he's found a spot. He'll get in shape, and he could be a big part of this team.
Huge.
They could have a big year going forward.
From the 32. And he drops the shoulder there, and he's going to pick up.
Wow, 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 wow. Did you get the tag number of that truck?
14. Wow. That's when you could just run straight downhill there. Again, 215 pounds. And let's watch as he makes it through the hole.
Watch the blocking. First of all, he's got a running start right there of 10 yards. And, you know,
Big Gage Grayson, I mean, he got his hips turned around to shield him so that he could have that hole.
Yep.
Great job.
Go right back to him, and he spins in the backfield, and you see Yates Green trying to yank that ball free.
Well, I think that's a response from St. Paul's that we're not going to sit back and let you run 10 yards and hit us. If we got to bring pressure and people to get you before you get going.
Sure.
And I think with this guy, you know, obviously when you blitz, you're asking for trouble on the back end, but
that's what I was about to get to. When you finish your point, you know, you keep doing that, and then Blackman pull it and hit something over the top of it.
He could do it on this play. Everybody's up pretty close right now.
Quick out. Get this one off to 35. Going to be a couple yards short. Christian Burkhalter, the brotherly combination there.
You think they have a rapport?
Yeah, just a sophomore, but
they've been tackling each other in the room since what, 4 years old?
Yeah.
6'4".
I bet their parents have got a lot of stuff torn up between those two in the house.
Can you imagine?
Playing a little football?
Man.
Big boys like that.
Lamp down.
Yes.
Lamp down.
3rd and 3 from the Saints. 45. They'll pitch it. Franklin trying to get to the corner, and he does, and he's going to have another first down to the 32-yard line. Pickup of 13.
Yeah, just pitch it to him out there, and then, hey, he turns it up at the right time.
Sankey was trying to get the edge and turn it back inside the linebacker, number 1. He never really could. Burkhalter with the block, the other Burkhalter with the block on the edge. And again, we can talk all we want about Franklin's running, but what I'm noticing is he's got a lot of room to run.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay a toll at the end if you're trying to knock him down after he's had a head of steam.
Well, I'm concerned that some folks are not wanting to pay the toll.
They don't want to.
From the 31. We'll play action. Burkhalter wanting to go up top, looking for a Finn Heath in the end zone. He's
out of bounds.
Incomplete. Oh.
Tell you, that's the exact play we were talking about. Stick it in the belly of Franklin, pull it out, and go over the top. Just didn't execute it perfectly that time.
Boy,
get you to suck up right here. Your backers and corners looking in the backfield. Nope, the ball's over your head.
That was max protect too. They were going to make sure that Burkhalter was not affected as he, you know, they were going for it all right there.
But even taking the shot downfield, Big Lockett, also pays dividends because
absolutely puts it in the back of the minds of the defense.
2nd and 10 from the 31. Abrams drain, so elusive. Look at the stutter step there, and brought down at the 27-yard line.
Such patient running there. All these guys.
Trayvon Bellamy to make the stop for the Saints.
Trying to get blockers in front of him.
Great play by Drain too, and he's just so relaxed and so confident. He's getting a nice shake move on Green, who they think the world of, number 5, the safety for St. Paul's, and he was able to dismiss him without a problem and get the corner.
All right, 3rd and about 6 here from the 27.
Well, they got a lot of guys up in the box here, St. Paul's.
Heavy in the box, we like to call it.
Burkhalter, pressure coming from the backside. Wide open, looking for his brother, and he airmailed it. Wow, he had him.
Man, tell you what, the strategy going on with these coaches here.
Yeah, well, the strategy was right, and you got one brother may not talk to his other brother on the way home tonight because he's like,
hey, I could have had Jim Cox call my name for a touchdown.
We called it.
So we'll bring out Matt Quinn. This will be a 44-yard attempt.
St. Paul's dodging a bullet there, Jim.
Luke DeWeese to hold. Long snapper Carson Peak. Quinn with the big leg. Finally a senior. And Matt Quinn has got it.
Yeah, that was good for 20 more yards.
17-0. Like a little draw on that one as well. Kind of pull it back. And the Toros increased their lead to 17-0. About 4 minutes into the third on the Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Tara Reeves on the sidelines. Jared Kihas in the truck. Daniel Hicks, our statistician, and all the great men and women on our crew here for our Friday night game every week out here. And I don't care anything about the cool weather coming, but the physical work they do to get these games set up every Friday night. I know they would love to have it be a little cooler. Coming, saying maybe next.
Actually,
maybe next
I'd
week.
like it just a bit cooler. I'm with you, Jim. I don't know stuff you can bring with you, but
any weather reports I hear about next weekend, none of them are looking real cool or
more pleasant,
promising.
Might need a cooler to keep things cool in your houses. It's 8 plays, 46 yards, 4 minutes, and a little change there for the Toros, and Matt Quinn with the field goal. And St. Paul's, this is not an offense built to be down multiple scores the way they like to pound the football. Still time to do that for a while, right, Vic Lockett?
I think so. Let's not get in that possession conversation.
Oh, runs into his own man, does Ingram, and trying to turn. Nothing doing there. Is Carlos.
That doesn't help their cause at all.
Carlos
getting behind the sticks and off schedule there.
Carlos Johnson blew things up there as he got by Peyton Maples, and Ingram ends up losing 3, so 2nd and 13.
Yeah, this team is not, this Spanish Fort defense is not kind of sitting back. They're not playing a little flex B. They're getting their people in gaps and trying to create some problems, it looks like to me, Vic.
Yeah.
Here's what the
Saints. I would play them because, they want to play between the tackles anyway.
Here's what the Saints have done. Punt, interception, missed field goal, punt, and then ran out the clock there at the end of the second quarter, and that one goes off the shoulder pads of Javonte Graves Billups, and 3rd and 13 coming up here for the Saints.
Wow. This is not what you call 3rd and magic.
Yeah. No, and no one would desire this down and distance. And for St. Paul's, of course, their bread and butter is to try and run it at you now. They've got some weapons. They do. They can't get the first down.
And Green has made some good deliveries tonight as well.
Yeah, dude, watch the protection here now and see if Spanish Fort doesn't try to make him very uncomfortable.
3rd and 13. Now they'll roll out. Green fires and right up near the sticks. I think he's going to be a little short as Javonte Graves Billups has got it. Let's see the spot. And
well, they give him a favorable spot there, so it may be something you can measure.
Another nicely thrown ball.
Now, and Coach Mass anticipating them, making him uncomfortable. They roll him out the pocket, and it is a successful first down.
Oh boy, they got a big time.
And you usually don't get that on the opposing sideline spot either, and it looked on the replay there like he was down short of the 30.
Yeah, they got a nice spot on that one, but hey, the play was nice. Hey, nice throw, nice catch.
Yeah, good execution.
Yep. So another well-thrown ball by Green. First time we've really seen him roll out much, and we go back to Graves Billups and lost the football and recovered wisely by Peyton Henderson there for the Saints. Wow.
He wasn't wise at first.
Yeah.
But not, you can't blame the kid for thinking, what can I get out of this? But our pregame guest falls on it. Fortunate for the Saints.
Oh, that was Mike Miller just stripping that ball.
But Miller's a good player.
Oh, and you know what? It was Steve Mask who was watching Spanish Fort warm up, and he said, 3, he's a really good player over there.
Yep. He showed us 3 times this year.
2nd and short now. Ingram going to have another first down as he's across the 40 up to the 42-yard line. And we'll see if the officials take their heat timeout here as we're in the window with 5:38 to go.
Ingram got wide and then went upfield and kicked the sticks for the first down.
Tim Porter says, yep, we'll take a heat timeout. 5:38 to go. Toros trying to stay perfect in region play on top 17-0 here at home, but St. Paul's got a drive going. The Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals, 5:38 to go in the third. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Tara Reeves on the sideline. Jared Keyhouse in the truck. Daniel Hinks, our statistician. All of our entire great crew here. UTV 44 in Spanish Fort tonight. Jordan Ingram trying to turn the corner. Has some blockers in front and slides out near midfield. Gonna be down at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, job well done getting that edge again.
And let's go down to Tara. She's got a report down on the sidelines. Tara.
Well, guys, on the field, the competitiveness is evident, but off the field, these players and even their families are close friends. Jay Green, Jackson Burkhalter both work out with David Morris at QB Country. And before this game, the Burkhalters and the Greens both had lunch at California Dreaming, as well as Ingram's parents. Now, of course, the Burkhalters are friends with a lot of the people at St. Paul's because Christian and Jackson went to St. Paul's and then transferred after Jackson's freshman year. Guys.
Thank you, Tara. Yeah, we'll see the spot here. Looks like going to be good for another. The official on the near side saying on the first down. The far side saying yes. So we're going to be just short here. No? Yeah, 3rd and inches.
We were talking to Christian and Jackson's dad before the game, and he had nothing but good things to say about the kids at St. Paul's. Talking about the experience there and how much he enjoyed so many of the players.
Well, that's good.
He's telling some great stories about Charles Barkley's grandmother as well.
He played on Barkley's basketball team at Leeds back in the day.
Wow. So, Grandma Barkley.
Don't worry about Charles. Worry about Grandma.
Yeah. 3rd and inches here for the Saints. Ingram has the first down. He's up to the 42-yard line. Got some more folks checking in, watching the game. Michael Leland was at the UMS game. 35-0 UMS at the half. And so he comes out and he's got a lot of friends on the Spanish Fort, on the St. Paul's team. And he said he's settled in on the couch enjoying some nice imported truffles while watching the game for a little snack here late in the third quarter of this one.
You guys do it on Eastern Shore, right?
He's in Mobile, so that's it. So we appreciate Michael Leland. He loves to watch the games. Robert Cook, former Saint, checking in. He actually texted me the answer to the trivia question in the first half, then had to put the kids to bed. Now he's back watching the Saints as they go Wildcat with A.J. Finley here. Finley, wow, tried to turn it upfield, and there were 4 Red Bulls coming right at him.
Yeah, he just put the brakes on at that red light.
Yeah, it looked like Red Bulls have been drinking Red Bull. But here we are, the line of demarcation that Tara talked to Coach Mask about, the 40-yard line, and that's where they've had their trouble even to get into kind of field goal range.
Yep.
So, and this is not a new story for St. Paul's this season in terms of, you know, like they've been running up and down the field and everybody. Their offense has not been the strongest part of the team.
2nd and 7. Green with a low snap. Duff coming on the blitz, trying to get away, goes all the way back to his own 40. Now scrambles up, fires it out. They'll make the play to Billups, and Graves Billups is going to have the first down. What a play by Jay Green.
Great
Billups,
play.
I'm telling you, yeah, he's been clutch for him, hasn't he?
Yeah, and watch what Green does here. He never loses sight of Billups. So I'm thinking, throw it away, kid. But watch him right here. He's got an arm, and he sees Billups gets behind right there.
Oh, just dropped it over the linebacker there.
Yep, and I don't even know if he knew the linebacker was there, but he got it to Billups, and that was just keeping an eye on at least one guy downfield when he had all that pressure on him. The Toros maybe a little tuckered out after that play, too. Let's see what St. Paul's tries to do effectively after a play like that where Spanish Fort was running all over the yard.
Boy, and, you know, so many times a play like that, you see ineligible downfield, you see a penalty come, and, you know, nothing doing
Well, I don't
there.
know. We got a conference going on with the refs. But, you know, what started the play to be a great play, Green just getting the snap off his shoelaces.
Yeah, because the pressure was coming. Duff was coming.
At that point.
Yep, right on the edge. And then
you can see Green's a pretty good athlete because he could have been meat back there for that defense with that low snap.
Dead meat.
Yep.
Let's see here.
There's no penalty on the play. First and 10.
Okay. All right, they got it past the 40. They got a first down, and now for St. Paul's, what can you do to manufacture yourself 6 points here?
Down to the 29. Kenny Brown out wide. Ingram, lone running back. Ingram sets up his blockers and turns on a little speed and gets up to the 21. Braden Moore, junior linebacker, with a tackle.
Well, that's simple enough, huh?
Yeah, just give it to him.
Counter action.
Somebody to the hole.
Somebody throws some blocks, and we got a big guy who can run. And that's, again, what St. Paul's would love to do. Kudos again to Green and Billups for bailing them out and giving them a chance to get back to the run game.
Sure. By the way, Jim, my good friend Derek Turner said no truffles over here. Alligator bites.
Well, it's
Eastern Shore.
Serve up lots of fine food here on the coast
that you catch out in the Gulf.
Javonte Billups goes wide, and Finley, nothing doing there again.
A lot of window dressing, but Spanish Fort just staying home. Every hat in the gap takes care of the ball.
And especially on the line of scrimmage, Rick, it's not just
that's
staying
where they
home.
want it drawn up.
Not just staying home, but beating your block.
Absolutely.
You know? Being available for the tackle, and that's what you're seeing up front.
You're so nice, available for the tackle.
And I think that they're missing Brady Ward up front is St. Paul's, and I think that's probably having a it's been a factor.
Toros have been missing Dakin Fitzgerald, their starting nose. He's not been out there tonight. Big, he takes up a lot of space, but he's not been out there. He's been battling some injuries this year, but they have another flag here. This one going against the Saints.
While we wait on this conference, my boy, the CJ Landscaper extraordinaire, checking in too, saying he's watching the football game and enjoying it.
His name is CJ Landscaper, and he's a landscaper. Wow, that's
I call him CJ the Landscaper extraordinaire.
Okay, I didn't know there was okay. Thought that was fortunate or unfortunate, I guess. If you grew up and didn't like plants, it would have been a thing. So
not a double negative.
2nd and 12 here for the Saints, and again we see the struggles as the field gets shorter. So Tim Porter had gone all the way over to the
conversations aren't getting shorter.
Saints sideline, and
I've never seen them kind of confer with the coach and then come back and confer. Usually they go over there and tell them what the infraction is and give them an option.
Illegal formation on the offensive team, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
All right. We don't want a Senate hearing to break out here. Move it along.
The subcommittee meeting.
Don't need that.
All right, so 2nd and 9. Now after they get it correctly spotted. Finley split to the bottom of the screen. He's matched up against Micah Gaffney, the sophomore. Green again with a low snap. Pulls it down, gonna try and run, and Montage Cooks is there with a big body slam.
Yeah, on the next level, I think they would have called roughing the passer with all of that weight falling directly on the quarterback. And I don't know what you're supposed to do defensively to avoid that, but that's part of it.
And if you're Green, you just don't see him coming. I mean, he just came from the blind side there. And
wait a minute, you mean you tell me he can't see that big old man there?
Well, I mean, he was
5'11", 288.
He snuck up from an angle.
That reminds me of Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs always seem to sneak up on the people, and I'm like, wow, how did that happen?
What are the odds?
15th play of this drive, and get another whistle here, and that's going to back the Saints up on 3rd and 15.
Well, here you go then. James what Steve Mask preached about and whined about it a little bit and said we got to do better once we get past the 40.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
They get to the 29, and now since then,
and just retreat
10 yards backwards.
So 3rd and 20 coming up.
Well, way Green's playing. I mean, I guess you let him scramble around back there until Billups get open.
Are you going to see if they're going to get the play off? You're down, the clock is running here. 14 seconds here. And
I think they reset it.
The game clock, yeah. Are you in 2-down territory? Let's see. Green gets it off with a 1-second low snap again, picks it up and dropped all the way back to the 50 as Carlos Johnson is there. And boy, that, they were scrambling, trying to get it off before the clock ran out, and then another bad snap, and ooh, that one went way
It
back.
all starts with the center, and you've got to get it correct.
It did.
We are through 3. Spanish Fort has won 16 in a row here at home. Looking to make it 17, and on top by 17 they are, heading into the 4th. Ready to start the 4th quarter. Andy Citron, Injury Attorneys, Friday Night Rivals. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett, Tara Reeves, Daniel Hicks, our statistician, and a great crew here on UTV 44. And so 15-play drive. How many times do you have a 15-play drive and punt from midfield?
Never.
That's what happened to the Saints on that one. And
that will be one of your trivia questions next week, I'm sure.
Down to the 14 is where Spanish Fort take over. Hey, how about Spanish? We're talking about, speaking of trivia, here we go.
Yeah.
So Coach Mass needs one more win to become the second winningest coach in St. Paul's history. Dan Brennan, you got a guess who's?
Gonna throw out Eddie Guth?
Eddie Guth?
I have no idea.
Eddie Guth.
Eddie Guth.
77-41. He was there from 97 to 2006. Steve Mask right now 76-14. How impressive is that?
Eddie ran the wing tee, and he just
dared you to stop it.
He dared you to stop it, and I'm telling you, he would have 6, 7, 8 kids a game. It seemed like carried the ball.
Yep. And just a gentleman that we love dealing with is great. Has a handoff right up the middle. Goes Franklin all the way up to the 39. Gain of 25 on first down.
Those are Franklin's stats in the books. That's the offensive line right there, though, Vic.
Yeah, you see that guy rolling around right there? Just breaks it open right there. He's looking like Jerome Bettis back there.
Does anybody playing tonight that looks good not a Steeler reference, Big Lock? There's been other running backs.
I can make it even better for you, Jim, and do some Bama references. I know you love that.
Franklin, I don't know what you're talking about. Franklin gets replaced as he limps off, and Justin LeJesse comes in. LeJesse, 5'4", 157 pounds, but he'll stick his nose right up in there. We're talking about Coach Blackman losing one game in a region since he's been here. How about this? If you go back to 2012, Spanish Fort is 46-3 in region play.
In a really good region.
Yeah, I mean, that's since 2012. That's 94% winning percentage.
St. Paul's was in that region in 2012. You've had Blunt, you've had Saraland, you've had Daphne.
Yep.
In many of those years?
It starts with the top of their head.
Burkhalter looking for Abrams. Drain, and he pulls it in at the 26-yard line.
Nice pass, nice catch, great execution.
Yep. Nothing's really changed since halftime when I was saying that what we've seen. Whoa, what a catch. Spanish Fort has been the more physical team and the more explosive team. Sometimes you don't get all that in an evening, but they've been able to do that.
And that play is possible because Justin LeJesse does a great job of picking up the blitz.
Yeah, at 5'4".
Hard-nosed kid.
35 yards through the air for Burkhalter, and the Toros threatening to blow this one wide open. Burkhalter pressure, and he'll get upended. Good work. Hustling in there. Caleb Crum.
Curious call. A little bit, unless they were really sure they had something. Obviously, I think that was not, they weren't looking to get a little bite on that one. They were looking to get something big.
Burkhalter banged up on.
Yeah, I think he came out, didn't he?
Yes, he definitely did. So now we're going to have Abrams Drain will come in at quarterback here. And again, he played some quarterback last year. Yeah, he looked like he
serious there.
This looked like he landed awkwardly.
Well, he
got him low too.
He got hit in the shins.
So Abrams Drain here on 2nd and 13. Gives it off, and Harris Sankey in there right away to take on Justin LeJesse.
That's a linebacker filling a gap right there.
Yep. Daniel Foster Allen there as well. Tara tells us that ankle is what they're looking at on Burkhalter, and I'm sure she'll get us an update. I do want to say a special hello while the Saints are on defense. David Stapleton, defensive coordinator and coaching for 36 years here on both sides of the bay, and his mom, Mrs. Stapleton, watching the football game tonight. So
it's Miss Patsy right there, and she watches the games and enjoys them, and we say hello to her.
Abrams Drain steps out of bounds. And always look forward to our pregame conversations with David on the field before St. Paul's game.
Yeah, he's
we got to
kind
get
enough.
those young ladies together. You know, Miss Millie Fritz and her. They can have a tea party.
Yeah.
I think they're in
enjoy the game.
I think they're in the same high school football fantasy league, if I'm not mistaken. Big Marcus.
I can assure you, Miss Millie Fritz doesn't know what a fantasy team is.
Our good friend Jim Bibby down at the beach checking in tonight. And so we'll try another field goal. This will be again from 44 for Matt Quinn.
Wow.
As soon as he hit it, it sounded
Yeah.
like it was going to be good. And that one would have been good from 55.
Nice job by Matt Quinn. That was the kicker, right?
Yes.
The holder to stretch out there and get
Yep.
it.
Luke DeWeese on the
Luke
hold.
DeWeese.
And it's 20-0 Toros on top on the Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals.
For more information and to find your perfect Firefly stylist, visit
20-0 our score here on our Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals. Another 6A Region 1 matchup tonight, not too far from here, just a few miles. As a matter of fact, it's Baldwin County leading Daphne 20-7.
Wow.
At Daphne. Daphne's homecoming tonight.
Man.
8 plays, 52 yards.
That's a homecoming gone wrong.
Ooh, 2 minutes, 44 seconds before Matt Quinn boots his second field goal of the night.
Yeah, instead of homecoming, that's home going.
Man, not good.
Quinn sends this one high, angling, and into the end zone goes Ingram.
My buddy Dan Kidd checks in, Jim, and he says to continue that truffles conversation.
Oh, man.
He doesn't eat truffles over here. Poor folks like him eat ruffles, and they're not the brand.
Let's look at what the Saints have. You see where they're at tonight, and then St. Paul's, actually, they were off last week, and so their schedule a little wonky there as they have Saraland.
We got that game, right?
Right here on UTV 44.
Yeah.
So,
weather permitting.
Dan Brennan, the alarmist.
Well, you know,
I'm in
he's one of those
touch.
guys that loves the weather every 5 minutes on the news.
Look, I'm in touch with the local meteorologist.
Something's
Got him
brewing in
on
the Caribbean.
speed dial, huh?
Something's brewing in the Caribbean. Y'all got that thing pegged coming right into point clear every time. Every time.
I don't know for sure it's going to just land on the mall, but I'm just saying, let's heads up.
All that means to Jim is I got to take my big boat out there and ride it out and see.
Yeah, Vic, again, there's just so much you just don't.
You know, like the Navy does on the Eastern Coast.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they take those big ships and out there and
Let's see who's
they fare
down.
better
Dry
out
dock
at
'em.
sea. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like just cramps there. Looks like for the Toros.
It is another warm night, so we're into October, almost.
Which would be almost unheard of to have a storm come in this time
Well,
of year.
and also just how warm and hot it is here in Mobile and Baldwin counties for football, because we usually start to see that wind kind of shift out of the north a little bit.
At least the humidity out of here.
Yeah, not been the case.
I'll be honest, totally okay with it.
I know.
I got no issue with
He
that
can keep his boat out there year round. He's fine.
This just nothing to do with it. Well, that would be fine too, but it's just I just don't like the cold in any. Like I always say, cool.
I thought
crisp,
you missed the ice fishing.
Yeah.
You're
Every
getting
chance
all
I get,
excited
every
about-
chance I get, Vic Lockett, I miss it.
He's getting all ready for the preseason NHL, that sort of thing.
It's the regular season. It started this week, Vic Lockett.
Oh, I thought it was just still
Scott
preseason.
Cooper's Washington Capitals. Thank you, Jared, for helping
Well,
getting
the
us out of
Wizard
this.
saves us, right?
So our Scholastic athletes, William Stedman, a senior at St. Paul's, 4.4 GPA, plays tennis. Member of the National Honor Society, Spanish Club, and also the Math Honor Society. You see where he's going to go to school there. So,
And you saved the
congratulations.
best for last. He's attending the university.
The university. Yes, he's going to Alabama. So congratulations to that young man. Hard work paying off in the classroom all throughout his.
And when he gets there, he better show up at the games with his student tickets.
No kidding.
I've heard,
Nick Saban.
I've heard someone has had a bit of an issue with that here.
I'm not sitting out in that 9-degree sun.
You're going to have
40 and done game.
kids that are majoring in biology running the stadium stairs soon.
2nd and 9. Takes this one over the middle, able to able to get that one complete off to Bill Johnson, his second catch tonight
Good athlete.
for the Saints. And our Scholastic athlete on the Spanish Fort side, Natalie Burnside, 3.7 GPA, golf, National Honor Society, Red Ribbon winner. Carson Scholar is going to study architecture at
And Natalie's
Auburn.
going to the other university.
4.37 was Vic Lockett's 40 at the combine.
Yes.
What, getting a drink to my mouth?
So, I'll bring up 4th and 2 here with 8 minutes to go. And you're down 3 scores.
For a big night for the Toros, huh? Big game, big rivalry game.
Yep.
They've got all these statistics you did recite before the game about how hard it is to win here, about how hard it is to be a region opponent and beat this team anywhere. And they've come in and they've, at least this night, they proved it.
They basically turned it into another day at the office.
They did.
The way it looks so far.
They did.
So I think we're just going to send the punt team on late. Just going to let the clock run down and call a timeout here. 4th and 2 with 7:21 to go. And looked like maybe they were going to bring the big heavy package in where they bring those linebackers in to
get that first down.
Yeah, they need it here with 7:21 remaining.
Yeah, with the time remaining, I don't mind you start talking about possessions at this point because certainly they are running out of time and possessions are becoming a premium.
Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals presented by Bishop State Community College and brought to you by Metal Roofing Center and Supply, our Raise the Roof cam. We see that each week here on Friday nights. Next week, we will see the St. Paul's team at home as they're going to take on Saraland. We just saw their schedule pop up there, and that's going to be a Saraland rolling tonight. They're going to be unbeaten rolling into that game, so that's going to be a big challenge for the St. Paul's team.
This might be the best Saraland team that we've seen, at least to this point of the season, since they got to the state championship game 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit long, but not too long ago. But, man, that was a really good squad. And Jared reminds me they had to get through Spanish Fort too.
I think that was here they won too.
Yeah.
And of course, as we said earlier, that's could be setting up the big showdown the last week of the season. Last Friday night, it'd be right here on UTV 44. I'm sorry, I'm announcing the flex schedule a month ahead of time. But that would be a great one up in Saraland to close out the season for the region championship.
Now, who does Saraland have this coming week?
Saraland next week has St. Paul's.
And we're there.
We're there.
Okay.
Weather permitting.
We will be there.
Okay.
I don't want to.
All right, here we go.
That's fine.
Speak that into action.
4th and 2 for the Saints at their own 28. Look at this tight formation here. And look at Spanish Fort matching their tightness with everybody right up there. They pitch it off to Ingram. Tries to bounce to the outside. He's driven back for a loss.
Man, penetration destroys everything.
Yeah, they sold out.
Yeah.
And they came up, and they weren't even necessarily looking to make a tackle. They were just taking out blockers.
And I'm going to tell you what's impressive. They weren't slanting. They were two-gapping that thing.
Mike Miller busting in through there. Carlos Johnson, and then Braden Moore also there as well. And
they took on the blockers rather than the reverse.
Correct. Yeah.
Pushed the blockers back.
Yeah.
And that's what Ingram had no chance.
Yeah, I mean, they just played disciplined football, two-gap the thing, didn't slant one way or the other.
Nope.
And just say, hey, whatever you run, we're going to be sound against it.
Speaking of discipline, how about Spanish Fort with just one penalty here in the second half compared to
well, I
the 6
mentioned
we
they
saw
would
in the first half?
likely correct that.
Abrams Drain stays in at quarterback, and he'll keep it on the right side. He's trying to turn the corner, and he'll get pushed out of bounds. Loss for a couple. Good defense there by St. Paul's to string that one along. Was that one a little point back to the scoreboard there from Abrams Drain? It sounded like maybe one of the St. Paul's players on the sideline said something, and he gave a little bit, and I think that might have just was a penalty all the way back on way away from the football.
Sounds like there may be some kind of formation. Oh, no. Blocking infraction.
So I just said one penalty in the second half.
Jinxed them.
Hugh.
Well, one
yellow hanky.
The reason that Burkhalter's out of the game, too, may still be that injury.
Yeah, sure. I think if you're Coach Blackman Abrams' dream, run it a lot. Don't have to throw it here anymore. Up by
Stay in bounds, though, young man.
Yep.
That's what he'll say to him.
Tim Porter.
During the play, block below the waist on the offense team. It's 15-yard penalty from replay, first down.
Those are big, costly penalties. Pushes them back to the 41-yard line, so 1st and 25 here for the Toros. But Abrams' dream, he can throw it if need be, but I think
he's already thrown a touchdown.
Yeah, we saw that, a 31-yarder when he was
to my man Love.
Coming in from the end position. Handed it off, Xavier Love, and he falls down, does stay in bounds. Big Lockett. And
yep, they're coached up well. No need of going out of bounds, stopping the clock, giving St. Paul's another opportunity, another possession.
Matthew Hunt, senior linebacker, able to make the tackle there for the Saints.
If they stay right here, they may trot their kicker out there.
He's got the leg.
Maybe a little deep, but I'll tell you what, so far, really a statement game for Spanish Fort tonight on the Hill.
Abrams drain, looking to throw, fires off and slipping down.
Yeah, that one kind of died on him and then get all the way out there. And the receiver tried to come back and help him out, but he lost his footing.
Wanted to come to Travis McGowan over here, so 3rd and 26 coming up. For the Toros with 6 minutes to go. 2 timeouts left for St. Paul.
There was a McGowan, might have been the quarterback when this team first started becoming almost like an urban legend. We hadn't had him on TV yet, and they were starting to beat people. We saw him at Viger in a playoff game. Remember that? Years ago.
Xavier Love.
It's the first time we saw Spanish Fort, Jim, and we were still doing some playoff games, albeit, delayed till the next evening. But that's the first look we got at Spanish Fort. And the thing that struck us, and it might have been a McGowan kid at quarterback, but they were
tough.
Not afraid.
Yeah.
Boy, they were not afraid. They were, and they won that game. And then we were like, okay, this is a team that now we're going to see on UTV 44. Little did we know, beyond just being on UTV 44, they were going to start piling
Become
up
a dynasty.
state championships. Yeah.
So they do take the heat time out. 5:47 to go, and we'll see another field goal attempt coming up from Matt Quinn. He's got 2 tonight, and Spanish Fort on top 20-0 with 5:47 to go on the Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals. .47 to go, and Matt Quinn going to try to make it a 23-point lead for the 49-yard attempt.
Matty Ice to attempt from 49 yards.
So Matt Quinn, who's been kicking since an 8th grader here, and he has a huge...
There's a flag. Somebody's saying there's a false start. Huh?
Well, now
do you go from 54? I think you let him kick it.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
Well, if you know that he can.
Yeah, 4th and 23. What you gonna punt from the 37? No.
The game's not in jeopardy.
Dead ball, snap infraction on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
54, he's got the leg.
And apparently they need to practice getting a penalty, field goal kicking team.
But if he just goes through with that natural motion and doesn't try to force anything, he can get it. Wow. I don't even get 59.
Yeah, that one was wide right.
I thought I heard it blown dead.
It was before. There was a whistle before.
St. Paul's might have been a little quick off the edge. Let's see.
Spanish Fort took a timeout.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they iced their own kicker.
Well, it worked because that one did not.
He missed it.
That one did not. And now they got to hustle go get the kicking ball back too. Like you got to run, got to send the ball boy down all the way there to get the kicking ball to come back. Andy Citron Injury Attorneys Friday Night Rivals also brought to you by Coastal Alabama Community College, our educator spotlight every Friday night here on UTV 44. We'll learn a little more about what's going on at each of the schools we have here on TV. Thanks to Coastal Alabama Community College. And, okay, so Nick Saban would not be happy with that student section right. Look, Well, Nick would be a little worked up, Vic Lockett.
Yeah, I think he may go in the stands or something and write their names down and say, hey, we got a little reward for hanging in there with us.
Let's see what happens now. Looks like Quinn's back out there again. So they're going to try it from 54.
At the far hash and push that one right before the whistle. So he'll get another try here. Holder is Luke DeWeese. And that one he got way underneath and hustle back. I'm saying that Toros hustled down. That ball was...
It's dead once the offense touches it.
Yeah, Spanish Fort and the Saints didn't have one back there.
Other team gets the ball back where the kick is taken.
So it'll be at the 20. They'll get it back at the 20 after the missed field goal. Yeah.
No big thank yous for
the extra hustle.
Well, exactly.
You know, it didn't go in the end zone, so they ran down there and
downed it
and downed the ball because it didn't go in the end zone. So that's
all it did.
That's like a great punt.
Yeah.
Not only is he a great kicker, but now he pins him back on the missed field goal, pins him back at the 2.
He pooched it on purpose. He's such a good kicker.
Yeah.
Well, I still wasn't even aware that's the rule. I thought they still would get the ball back here, St. Paul's.
Yeah. So you in high school on a missed field goal, you get it at the 20.
If it
goes back to the 20. Yeah. And so this one though,
since it didn't make the end zone, down it where it is.
That's why they hustled down there too.
All right. Well, I learned something tonight.
Yeah, me too, Vic Lockett. It's been that kind of night for St. Paul's. Green flares this one out, and it's
nice coverage out there by 4. I mean, he got his good form out there.
DeWeese, and he took away the angle, didn't he?
He did, and had his other free arm there to make the tackle if it was close. And his other arm to bat the ball down. Till he's been coached up.
Yep.
So under center will go Jay Green. Jordan Ingram takes the handoff and comes in and Montage Cooks with another big hit.
Yeah, he's making a name for himself tonight. He's been giving him bear hug after bear hug.
Third down coming up.
No rest for the weary with St. Paul's and Saraland coming up to Spring Hill next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. And St. Paul's here, you got 3rd and 10 coming up, and you're back at your own 4-yard line. So tough spot.
Well, you hope they can get Brady Ward better, the big offensive lineman, as an all-state sort of player.
They could certainly help him out.
Green fires in that one low.
Did
he get out of the end zone? No, it's a safety.
Wow.
Low pass, and Jordan Ingram.
Talking about adding insult to injury. I mean, just totally blanking St. Paul's all the way around.
Would have been better off dropping that one. I'm not sure. Well, I guess, yeah, he was in.
Yeah, I think his elbow was down, ball was behind the line.
So it has been kind of that night for St. Paul's, and a lot of it, the defense from the Toros.
Yeah, they've been aggressive. They've won the line of scrimmage. They've just taken it to St. Paul's, and then St. Paul's game offensively is to take it to you, and that's just not happened tonight.
Not happening. One of these games that certainly St. Paul's will build on and look at the film and make the corrections.
Again, if
they can get back 100% healthy. We've said it over and over about their linemen being out, so they know this is not all is lost.
No, for sure.
So if maybe you've watched high school football over the years and you've seen these two teams play before. It used to be Spanish Fort was in 5A. St. Paul's was in 5A. Well, now Spanish Fort continuing to grow here on the Eastern Shore. They move up to 6A, and then this summer, a new ruling from the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and they move St. Paul's and some other schools up a classification, and so St. Paul's goes from 5A to 6A. And that's why they're in this region now. As kickoff for the After the safety, Carlos Garcia
got a flag.
goes out near midfield.
Over here on the near sideline at the 50.
Yeah, right at the end of that play.
Yeah, maybe something late hit or something.
Boy, now I think if you're Ben Blackman, you're really happy to keep this ball on the ground, keep the clock moving, and 4-minute offense, run out the game, right, Big Lockett?
Yeah, that's what I would do, but I know Dan Brennan said he may be a little bit more aggressive, huh?
Well, I don't know if Ben will be aggressive. I think it's his nature to be aggressive, Jim, don't you?
Sure.
And but now 22-0 at this point of the game with less than 5 minutes to go.
You're starting QBs on the sideline.
Absolutely. That's what I would be thinking about.
Right.
You know, I want to get out of here healthy because you're at the midpoint of the season.
But I think Ben,
past it,
Ben Blackman,
it's time to get ready.
That's right.
To really totally.
What's next?
Yeah.
But I think his philosophy would be to.
It's your job to stop me.
Yeah, play you right to the end, and like his team, play right through the whistle. And let's see how they handle it here.
Yeah, I don't think you need to make wholesale substitutions, but throttle it down just a bit.
Let's see who they. Now they get movement up front. Hunter Freeman moves as now we're going to see a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Come in here for the Toros.
Totally discombobulated there.
Yeah, Johnny Morris, this is the freshman.
Y'all lining up for the big kick, coach.
5'11", 170-pound freshman going to get some playing time here for the Toros.
Ball start from the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
120 penalty yards against the Toros tonight.
That's something they're not going to like in their stats.
Somehow, it has not affected the scoreboard.
Morris gives it off to Finn Heath, and it's back to about the line of scrimmage.
St. Paul's still playing defense, not just conceding to the run. Make a good tackle right there behind the sticks. There's no quit in them for sure.
Second and 14. And Morris keep this one. There's a lot of talk. This is going to be a very special quarterback for the Toros in the future. So we're out of 3.5 too.
The high school football along the coastline is a little bit like living in a small town, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like a bunch of little towns that have.
There's not a lot of secrets. And when teams play a certain way, when players emerge as guys you want to keep an eye on that could really become very good players, everybody knows.
It spreads like wildfire. Huh?
It does.
Morris, pressure in the backfield is going to be dropped all the way. Chavers still playing to the end, dropped all the way back to the 25, a loss of 12.
Yeah, that's what Coach Mass is looking for at this point. You know, you're not going to win the football game, but who's still playing hard, who's still going as if it's 0-0. That's how you make your team.
That defense has had a tough night tonight because they've been beaten straight up and they've been beaten over the top.
Mm-hmm. And they're not a defense that's used to taking punches, is it?
No, and yeah, they're used to delivering. So tonight,
they've been more receptive.
Yeah, but it's a good group. They're good. They just really didn't get a whole lot of help from the offense.
Yeah.
Some would say no help from the offense with 0 points.
I was about to say, well, the naught signifies that.
Duff with a fidget spinner type punt. That one rolls all the way up to the 36-yard line with 2 minutes to go.
Completely gone, those fidget things.
I like Jim coming up with a Wheel of Fortune phrase to.
Yeah, you know, they got to be careful.
That's trending with the kids.
Yeah. Because if I know what's trending, if I know what's trending with the kids, that's me. Here's what the Toros have.
It's trending pretty high if Jim knows.
So, you know, they go up to Baldwin County next week, then Blount comes here, and then Gulf Shores, and then, oh, there's the game we've talked about a little bit. At Saraland. I would maybe park your car at the Walmart parking lot a week before to get a good spot. Green, pressure now, he'll pull it down and wisely slides up to the 41-yard line.
Green slides down after a gain of 5.
Other scores, Baldwin County still leading Daphne 20-14 in the fourth quarter. That would be a huge win for Baldwin County. Really Daphne's won 13 straight in that rivalry.
Yeah.
Fairhope now is pulled back ahead of Baker 30-19. Robertsdale leads BC Rain 28-25. Citronelle and Satsuma tied at 21. Minute and a half to go here. Green quickly gets that one off to the far side. And Johnson, another reception here tonight. He's had a good game for the Saints.
Yeah, he has, including that really nice catch in the first half where he had to go up and get it. Good athlete.
Biger on top of the floor, 52-16 tonight. Davidson 25-0 over Mary G. McGill shuts out Foley 44-0.
Biger's having a good year with their defense as well.
They must have some players.
Yeah, Andalusia.
Would you be surprised?
Andalusia beats Williamson 13-6 tonight.
Wow.
UMS rolling big as this one fired and diving in, coming up the interception. The officials saying no.
Oh, they are discussing it.
Yeah. Jacob Davis saying, I had it in all the Spanish Fort.
And they're going to say no.
Yeah, Spanish Fort bench had said he caught it, but
you're close to Spanish Fort bench. You got the majority trying to rule.
Vania Kai giving us that shot right there. Great call by the official.
No catch at all.
Got to make sure 45-7. UMS wins over Hillcrest Evergreen. And officials right there with a great call. Second.
Well, he was selling it.
In 10, yeah. You get a try. Low snap again, and Green flings it out to the far side, and then Peyton Henderson can't grab this one. They'll bring up third down with 50 seconds left. So next week we'll see these Saints again taking on Saraland.
Well, these teams get a good night's sleep tonight because it's been pretty physical out here this evening. It's just this offense in white has not really gotten anything going.
Hey, how about Mobile Christian going on the road and beating T.R. Miller 28-25? Big road win for Mobile Christian. And Carlos Johnson puts a huge hit on Jay Green to put an exclamation point.
And he lets you know right there.
And so
he's been back there all night close, but just hadn't got cashed in until then.
Yeah, the officials will probably be really good here and not even wait to snap. They won't even start they'll wait to wind the play clock. There you go. Now you won't have to snap it again. Good job by the officials. So they didn't have to snap one again. Here's our player of the game nominations. Chris Abrams-Drang, also Matt Quinn, and Mike Franklin from the victorious Toros, who win 22-0 here tonight in Spanish Fort to get the victory. And they move on the year now to 5-1, 4-0 in the region. They've won 15 straight region games, 17 in a row at home.
And the fireworks are going off, signifying the Bulls win.
And next week they'll be at Baldwin County. And Tara's trying to get Coach Blackman before we run out of time here. All right, quickly, let's go to Tara. Tara.
All right, Coach. Coach, you said that you had to be able to run the ball well in this game in order to win. Very productive on the ground. What allowed you to do that?
Yeah, we came in with the mindset we're going to run this football and we're going to win it with the run, and that's who we are. And mix it up. And I thought we played really well offensively. Mike had a big game, and I think all our kids played really well. Just very proud of them.
defense made their presence known, sacking Green 5 times. What impressed you most from them?
Well, I love their intensity, their effort, and you know, getting after it, and very, very proud of them.
Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Tara. That's going to do it here from Spanish Fort, where the Toros get the victory. 22-0. They beat St. Paul's and stay unbeaten in the region. And we'll see those Saints next week. They're at home against Saraland. But tonight it's all Toros at home for Tara Reeves on the sidelines. Jared Kios in the truck. Daniel Hicks, our statistician, our entire crew. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Vic Lockett saying good night from the hill, where the Toros remain perfect in region play.